Hey everybody, this is Joel, the accidental retiree here in Bucerias, Puerto Vallarta, for an important update from yesterday's video. Now that we've had an evening, a night to digest everything that happened yesterday, I thought it was important to put some more things into perspective. In today's video, we're going to give you an important airport update. We're also going to digest what exactly happened yesterday, a little bit of the history behind this thing, how it all came about, and filter out a lot of the noise. We're going to filter out the misconceptions. We're going to try to filter out all the AI and the fake news that's rolling around out there, and basically try to put this thing into a perspective, and not to downplay it, but to tone down the rhetoric and get to the closest source of truth that we can. I am holding the camera as I'm driving right now, and the only reason I'm actually choosing to do this is there's no one on the road. Like literally, I have no one behind me. I have one guy in front of me about half a kilometer up ahead. This is less traffic than a Sunday. Anyways, the first stop, we're going to head to the Puerto Vallarta airport. I'm going to give you guys a very important update on the Puerto Vallarta airport and where it stands right now with respect to incoming and outgoing flights. So you want to stick around. I'm going to get back to driving. Wow, you know, this is, I just thought I'd come back before we hit the airport. I just can't get over the traffic. This is like the traffic we had 21 years ago when we first started coming to Puerto Vallarta. Literally, you could get to the airport in 20 minutes from Bucerias, and you could get to Puerto Vallarta, the Malecon, in just over half an hour. That's virtually impossible today. And even on a Sunday, I don't even think it would be this light. But it's pretty crazy. I mean, you can kind of liken this to, I'm not trying to make light of this again, but this is almost like a snow day. Everybody's has a snow day today. All the classes are canceled. A lot of businesses are just taking the day off, which is probably a good thing. Give everybody a chance to just really digest what happened yesterday, and I think digest it in a way that we can all put this into a certain perspective and, you know, turn down the heat, so to speak, as opposed to ramping it up. So I just wanted to take a moment to pull over here and reflect on the beauty of Puerto Vallarta. We're here at the sunrise. The sun is popping its head up over the mountains there. It is one of the most beautiful sunrises I've ever seen. And I just want to say, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the 1,000+ new subscribers. We really appreciate your subscription, and what I'd like you to do right now is just put a comment below that you're a new subscriber so I can respond to you. I'll respond to every single comment, welcoming you personally. Just say new subscriber here and tell me where you're from. You're from New Jersey, you're from Calgary, or you're from Canada, United States, or our friends overseas. I would love to hear where you are watching from and give you a personal bienvenidos. And I guess if you're an old subscriber, welcome back. We really appreciate your consistent viewership of the channel. Let us know below in the comments what you think about all this, and I'm going to do my best to get through every single rational comment. Now, the irrational comments I'm not going to respond to, but the rational ones I'm going to. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed that little sunrise. I'm going to put the camera down now, just get behind the wheel. We'll be at the Puerto Vallarta airport momentarily, and I'm going to give you that airport update. So stay tuned, everybody. Some remnants. All right, there was a military checkpoint there. It looked like it was closed, but the guys waved me over. I didn't want to film that. I was chatted with the guys. So here's your airport update. The airport is open. It's not closed. That being said, a lot of flights are still canceled in and out, but there are flights leaving and there are flights arriving. So if you're seeing online that the airport is closed or that it's a war zone here at the Puerto Vallarta airport, that is just not the case. The airport is open for business. I'm going to see if I can park and just go check out the arrivals and departures to get a little bit of a better feel for this. And then once we finish up here at the airport, I'm going to give you guys some history and on kind of a history on the whole thing, because this just didn't happen yesterday. Okay, this thing has been kind of brewing. All right, guys, I'm just in the parking lot. I'm not going to bring the camera in because I think everyone's very sensitive, so I don't want to be just one of those guys. I'll bring my phone, maybe just if there's anything to chat about in there. But I'm just going to go see what the airport kind of looks like from, just kind of how it feels right now. So let's go check that out. And again, I'm going to leave the camera here, but I'll bring my phone, and if I shoot, I shoot. If not, I'll just give you guys the 411 when I'm back, and then we'll sit here and go into a little bit of deep history. So you're not going to want to miss that, because there is some deep history behind this whole episode. All right, guys, welcome back. Make sure you hit the notifications. What I'll do is just in the community tab, I'll post updates. If there's an important update, rather than doing like a full video on something, like if all flights have resumed to Puerto Vallarta, once I hear that news, I can just post that on the community tab. So make sure you toggle the notification bell. Also like this video while you're at it, and that'll help get it out to more people, and I'll do my best to keep all of you informed. What actually happened yesterday was a joint military operation between different military factions. That is still a little bit of speculation as to who was involved. There's obviously some speculation going around on the internet that the US was also a big part of that, but I'm not going to talk about that in this video because we don't have any concrete evidence around it. The operation itself happened in a town called Tapalpa, and Tapalpa is around a 4.5-hour drive from Bucerías on the toll road. I'll put the map up so you can kind of see where that is. It's a very beautiful town, but that's what I've been told. And I'm also seeing some videos, some people have done some videos there, some photos. So definitely on my list to visit, and I'll make a point of it to go visit Tapalpa this year, to go check it out. So there was obviously an engagement there. There was a firefight, like all the drama that went down. And the end result of that was El Mencho was wounded in the firefight and then died en route to hospital, I'm assuming in a chopper en route to Mexico City, along with, I believe it was 3 other individuals that were in that firefight. So that's what happened. And then after that incident, blockades were thrown up throughout the state of Jalisco, as well as throughout Nayarit. And essentially cars were set ablaze. From all that we can see, no civilians, no tourists, no one was targeted. This was essentially, obviously we can speculate as to what the reason is. When you see the media parroting each other that this was retribution by the cartel, I would take that with a grain of salt. I think if the cartel or anyone was trying to have some retribution here, it would have been a little bit more direct and a lot more violent. So this, if I was to just venture a guess, was a distraction and just to cause mayhem and chaos. And it did its job. I mean, people are terrified, and even Mexicans who have lived through this kind of thing before, they don't like it. It's a shitty thing that's happening. But as you saw today, the streets were just bare. But as it was coming back, and I didn't film it because I was concentrating on and getting home. Plus, there was just a little bit more traffic, but not a lot. People are starting to kind of like poke their heads up.
This is an update saying that the PVR airport is closed.
Oh, now it's closed.
All domestic flights, all international flights.
When did you get that?
Just like 6 minutes ago.
And where's that from, Joe?
It's I don't know. It's like from PBR, PB.
But does it look like it's from the actual airport authority?
It's a vacation rental.
So I don't know. I'm not going to trust this source. I was there, boots on the ground. I talked to the military. They told me that the airport is open. So as far as I'm concerned, it's open. If that changes, I will post an update in this video if it changes before I finish my edit. And if that changes, after this video is produced, I will post an update on the community tab. So make sure not only do you subscribe to the channel, but you toggle that notification bell and you will get any notifications that I put out. That, in a nutshell, is exactly what transpired yesterday. And I'm not going to speculate, and I really don't think we should really speculate much more beyond that, because that kind of brings me to my next point in this whole matter, is the misinformation out there is rampant. I've seen a number of AI videos of gunfights, and they're clearly AI. They're like 3 to 5 seconds long. You can kind of see the AI signature in it, so to speak. You're seeing airplanes burning. You're seeing all these things that are happening that just did not happen. Airplanes were not set on fire in any of this. Basically, automobiles were set on fire, and it looks like maybe some random big businesses were set ablaze as well, and no, Costco was not burnt down. That was another rumor that was going on out there. The other big rumor, and again, you guys, and I just saw this was burning like wildfire, was that at 1 p.m., the new generation cartel was going to start assassinating anyone that they met on the streets. And of course, 1 p.m. came, 1 p.m. went, 2 p.m. came, 2 p.m. went, and it just didn't happen. And frankly, I don't believe that would happen. There's no reason for any group to take that type of action, because it would only result in extreme consequences. So when you hear that type of stuff, it is out there for a specific reason. That is to create fear in all of us and to create more disorganization and chaos around this event. So I think what we can take away from this is, and this is in all cases, I mean, there are all sorts of things happening in the world. As I said yesterday in yesterday's video, we see a lot of chaos and disruption in the United States right now, and a lot of those incidents sometimes, and actually every single time, are going to escalate, like amplified by way of the internet, amplified by way of AI, amplified by way of, we're just so much more connected, like with WhatsApp thread, Twitter, or I guess that's X now, with everything that we now have at our disposal. That information just gets shot out there to all of us, and we are seeing it unfiltered. And when you're being peppered with it so quickly, we tend to make decisions about what we're seeing before we actually think it through. So I'm asking everyone to do the same thing with what you're seeing happening right here in Mexico. Is step back when you look at some content, and I know I use this, like, take it with a grain of salt. There's probably not a better way to say it, and I'm not trying to minimize this. So I'm not trying to minimize what happened, but anything in today's day and age, you have to take with a grain of salt. Verify it, confirm it, before you start forwarding it on. So I wanted to touch on a little bit of history on the matter. So we have had a very similar situation happen here. It was back in 2015 when there was a very similar military operation going on in Jalisco. There was a firefight on the way to San Sebastian del Oeste between some federal police and the group. And then we had very similar things. We had burning buses, burning cars. I remember that day because I used to be in the bike tourism business, and literally we had moved here 2 years earlier, just started a business, getting it off the ground. And when that chaos happened, I thought, like, this is over for Mexico. This is just crazy. Like, what is actually going on here? But then within a week, literally the world had forgotten about it. And I just don't think we had the same type of internet traction. It wasn't amplified in the same way. So it did get out there, but it wasn't amplified in the same way. Right now, every mainstream media news outlet in the world has picked up the story, and everyone knows about it. I have gotten so many messages, so many WhatsApps, so many direct messages on Facebook, asking that we're okay. That didn't happen in 2015 when this essentially the same scenario took place. So this is where I'm just trying to put some things into perspective. And I'm not making light of this or to say, this is a good thing or a neutral thing. It's a shitty thing, as I said yesterday. But at the end of the day, no civilians were targeted. we have to put on like our thinking caps. What was the intent of that action? Was, you know, if I put on my thinking cap and just think like a rational person, it was to create a distraction, probably create an inability for police to get to certain areas, and to create chaos, and to create this feeling inside us right now, which frankly for most of us was terror, right? So what we can do now is just not let that happen to us. Like, step back a little bit, look at what happened in the past, look at what's happening in the current, and then look out a week from now, and likely this thing will be completely blown over. That is my bet. I mean, you know, nothing is certain in life other than death and taxes, but my bet is that within a week, things are pretty well back to normal. All right, so again, where we're at today, as you guys saw by the video, the streets are quiet. The airport is open for all we know, still to this point in time as I'm shooting this video. People are walking their dogs, people are out shopping in the local tiendas, so people are going about their daily life again. And you know, a big question that we're getting, and Jillian, you can correct me, you're starting to get some emails from customers who have rented with us that are considering canceling and asking you if it's safe. And what has been your response?
Yeah, you know, we've had one person get in touch saying that they wanted to cancel their trip in mid to late March. That's when they were coming, and they were just concerned about their safety. And I just reassured them. I said, maybe you just want to sleep on it and think about it, give it a couple of days, and then let me know what you decide. Yeah. Obviously, unless flights are completely eradicated to Puerto Vallarta, you know,
it's business as usual.
It's business as usual. Yeah. That's correct.
Yeah, I'm kind of of the same mindset. I think it seems very, very contained, lots of security in the area. I was not scared whatsoever driving to the airport. And from all that I can see is there's a zero active threat as of today in Puerto Vallarta. And I don't really think there was any active threat yesterday, although I wouldn't have been going out watching the burning of cars. I saw people out there walking past the burning cars, taking video for the internet. Likely 99.99%, well, I could actually say 100% wouldn't be doing that. There's no reason to do that and even take any risk of being caught in some kind of potential crossfire. All reports, there were no civilian casualties, there were no civilians targeted. That is the truth, and that is what we know. So let's stick with that, everybody. Now, on the way to Vallarta, I passed, there was still a burnt car in the middle of the road, and that was pretty surreal. You come to the car and you almost don't know what to do. What do I do? So, like, I drove around it like everybody else did, and then I was going towards the airport. I thought, well, you know, just my editor producer hat on is, man, that's gonna, you know, that's a pretty interesting scene. Maybe I should reshoot the intro. I'm pretty sure I can stop my car there because there's absolutely no traffic and there's nowhere for anyone to go. So I could stop basically right in front of the car and I could shoot the intro from there and maybe, you know, be a little bit more dramatic. But I'm not really necessarily wanting to be overly dramatic, but you can see it. I mean, this is the reality, so I am going to show it. This is the reality of what's left. Everything else seemed to be cleaned up along the way. I don't know why this one car was still left there, but it was a somber reminder of what actually happened, but also a reminder to me, and grateful that, you know, it didn't escalate beyond just a burnt out car. A car can be replaced, but you or I can't be. All right, so Jillian, you think, is it safe to visit? You've been here 13 years, your thoughts? If you were like, okay, like, you've been here 13 years, so you have a different perspective. But if you were in Canada right now and you're traveling next week, are you canceling your flight, or are you just coming down? Are you playing it by ear?
You know, that's a bit of a tough question. Yeah. Obviously, my initial reaction is absolutely. But, you know, obviously there's cause for pause.
Yeah, cause for pause.
You know, if we were traveling somewhere in the Middle East, You know, we loved Jordan. If we were going back to Jordan and there was all kinds of strife going on around it, we probably might reconsider it.
We probably would reconsider it.
That is a much further flight, and you know, on a completely different continent,
right?
And you know, a few other things that are vastly different. But you know, definitely pause for cause. But I think you know, like I said, sleep on it a couple of days, wait to hear what the official news is, and make your final decision then. But you know, me knowing this area and Vallarta and the way they take care of the bay, I wouldn't hesitate
to come. And that's us. So our decision might not be your decision, but I think what we're just trying to do here is give you a little bit of comfort from our perspective as people who, you know, live and breathe in the area for the last 13 years permanently and traveling for, is it 21 years now or 22?
22.
Almost 22 years. Crazy where time goes. All right, guys, so I think I'm gonna leave this video here. If there is, I'm not gonna do anything more on this unless there's really something to talk about. So if there's something specifically you want me to cover that makes sense for my channel, now is the time for you to put a comment in the description. And if there's a reason for me to make up a follow-up video on this, then I will. But I'm not just gonna make another video on this just for the sake of getting more views or more clicks. I felt it was reasonable to make one today to do an update. And if something important happens that's just, it's too short for a video, I'm gonna post that on the commentary on the community tab. So again, just make sure you subscribe, toggle on notifications to see that. And if something material happens that is worthy of a full video, then I'll do it. And then yeah, if I see a bunch of comments in below that are pointing me into some type of content that you want to learn more on about Mexico, I suggest anything goes. What thing would you like me to cover? It does not have to be this. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put a link in the description of our last video where we did a pub crawl here on horses. And you know, this is normally the stuff I produce. It's like our life, our idyllic life here in Mexico. And that's not to say there's not challenges living here, but this isn't normal what we went through yesterday. This does not happen on a daily, weekly, or even yearly. I mean, this, as I said, the last time this happened was 10 years ago. But normally we make pretty fun videos. Go watch this video that I do, a horse ride with my daughter Adelaide and her boyfriend Moses. So go check out that video. You'll get, especially if you're new to the channel, you get a feeling for who we are as a family and what it is that we really love about living here in Mexico, because we do. And you know, this situation hasn't turned us off from Mexico. We're not going anywhere. This is our home. So I think I'm going to stop talking now because I think that's a wrap. And on that note, as I like to say, nos vemos, hasta luego, and adios desde Bucerías, aquí en Nayarit, México.